Greetings and welcome back, blade lovers. It's Maxace time. Time to show some love and appreciation to the company that likes to give us large and very often budget-friendly folding knives. And today I've got a selection of knives, some new, some old. I'm calling it Maxace 2022, really, because some of these are newer acquisitions this year, earlier this year, and fairly recently. And some are from 2021 and even beyond. So the name Maxace Knife Company, that's what's on the boxes these days, seems to also be aligned with something called Midnight Cat Studio. And I'm not sure when they use one name and when they use another. I know Midnight Cat Studio seems to sort of swing towards the bally song side. And we see Maxace branded on all of these knives. I don't believe I have a knife here that is branded Midnight Cat Studio. However, their logo sort of has that Midnight Cat logo in it, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. Anyway, if you happen to know conclusively what the relationship of the two companies is, please let me know. We're going to start with perhaps the largest or one of the largest knives on the table. This is the Sandstorm K, a very impressive knife that I was happy to get my hands on probably a couple years ago, maybe. This is the economy version of the original Sandstorm, which was about a $400 to $450 knife in M390. The K on their knives always stands for Bowler K110, which is a more refined version of D2. Is it interchangeable with D2? Not according to knife steel compositions and some other sources. It's supposed to be finer grained and actually not as corrosion prone as D2. Not that D2 all on its own is, because it's partially stainless. At any rate, we've got a heavily sculpted black G10 handle on this. Comes in several different colors. I think there's a gray, and I think there is a tan and a few other colors. Don't know them all off the top of my head. I will leave you links on all these knives in the description so you can look them up. And of course, if you're shopping at White Mountain Knives, don't forget to use my discount code OLDSWORD for 10% off. So you spend $100, you get $10 off. You spend $200, you get $20 off, etc., etc. This is just a giant knife. You can see I've got about 1.5 inches left over on my grip from a medium large hand that I have. This is a stonewashed finish here, heavily, or no, actually it's heavily bead blasted. My mistake. It's too fine for stonewash and doesn't have that pattern. We've got a satin finish going longitudinally on the flat. Fairly thick blade, and by the way, if you want to learn more about any one of these, there are reviews on the channel. And most of these large knives from Maxace are just crazy drop shut. See if I can pull out a little bit. Yep, there we go. Thumb stud opening. Really tall stacked giant thumb studs. One of the trademarks or earmarks of this particular knife. It's got a lock on the other side, which you may or may not use. It swings a little bit freely. You can do it with one hand. Basically what it does is lock out that liner. And you can flip it back like that. So a lot of people don't like them. I don't use it, but I don't mind it being there. Clips, well, they use a very plain pedestrian sort of stamped out steel clip, but everybody seems to say it works well, and I agree. It's smooth in and out of the pocket. It's just not the best looker, shall we say. Moving along, here is the deal of 2022, I think. This is the Balance, and they made a Bowler K110 at $55 in this knife, but just for a little over $100, I believe, you can get this M model in M390. That's right, M390 for just a little over $100. Ergo-friendly, smaller knife than the Sandstorm for sure. Kind of a light bead blast finish. Got a little bit of a gloss there, but you can't see any reflections. You notice just kind of a shadow. And here is the marking. Balance M, M390, 2022. So this is the latest iteration of it. It is a nice, smooth, fast-firing knife. It's a flipper, as opposed to the thumb studs on the Sandstorm K. This one has the blue-gray G10 handle scales, which I happen to like. An interesting pivot with pivot surround, if you want to call that, kind of a teardrop there. A lot of people don't like this open gear sort of pattern. I think it's cool. Liner lock, good engagement. I would say that's probably a good 30-35%. So a solid lockup. Drop point blade, very useful, high grind. And that is the Balance M. If you want to spend half the money, you can get the K110. Not a problem. Also, a very large knife, perhaps one of their largest, and maybe slightly larger, I think, than the Sandstorm, is the Goliath II. And they just came out with this in 2022 in the Bowie blade. This is also the Bowler K110 version. I believe out on Lamnia you can get for $135 to $175, you can get this knife in the original Goliath II with the drop point blade. In I think they do the Bowie in S90V, and they do the drop point in M390. So pretty cool that you can get those higher end blade steels for under $200. Really nice stonewashed titanium bolster. These have I think they switch them up now and then. That's a titanium clip. And was the clip on the Sandstorm titanium? No, it's steel. And they do that a lot. So titanium clip with a titanium bolster, kind of matching that up. Heavier knife. Once again, crazy drop shut like a guillotine. And look at that. Flipper. Fires nice. I believe you can fail it if you try. It's swinging right out there. The pivot's so smooth on those bearings, yeah, that it seems like it's going to fail. Nope, just swings right out. I'm telling you, they tune this up nicely. Big, old, heavy knife. Liners, I believe, are steel. Yeah, the liners are steel. This one's black G10. You can get these, I think, in various colors too, although once they went Bowie, I'm not sure. There might be some other special colors they're using in the Bowie design. But if you like the Bowie clip style knife, this is like about a 4.5. Yeah, just about a 4.5 inch blade. If you can't carry large knives in your area, you're out of luck. But it is great in the collection, and look at that, about 1.5 inches again left over. We'll do a compare at the end with the Sandstorm. Now we get down to a couple of premium Maxace knives. Here is the Babylon. Maxace Babylon. They're one and only, as far as I know, button lock, and it is just a real beautiful, smooth button lock knife. M390 on the steel. It's got the ginormous thumb stud. You can do that, or you've got the opening hole here that you can thumb it out with. really smooth, crazy pendulum type looseness or free swingingness to this when you push the plunge lock there. Got a very decent, beefy stop pin. Light blue titanium anodized clip with a ceramic ball. And these are much smoother than the balls that they just kind of press in there. And you're riding on a pretty smooth titanium handle. So titanium M390 with this guy. Kind of what you call a reverse Tonto a la Benchmade Osborne 940, sort of a clip to it. Big swale at the top, nice jimping. You can stick your thumb out pretty well there, and it is still a large blade, not as large as the Sandstorm or the Goliath, but it's 3 3/4 almost, maybe a little less. Still a large overall knife. And you got to release that button quickly in order for it to stay in place. Otherwise you get this bounce that's pretty typical of button locks. This is just probably the smoothest button lock out there, even with Civivi and some other companies coming out with button locks. I think 2022 has certainly been the year of the button lock for sure. Beautiful satin brush belt finish on that. Brush satin. Nice bead blasted titanium handle, and it's ergonomically very comfortable and rather thin. Blue backspacer. Premium knife. They came out with the version 2 in 2022 of this. Only difference I can see is that they put a backup lock on it, a double lock right there, and that's the only difference I can see. Could be that they found it was a little easy to push that button. I mean, I'm squeezing it pretty hard right now, and that button's not engaging in the right hand. Maybe it would in the left. I don't know. It's kind of out of the way there as well. But maybe in rough use, it could get pressed, and that's why they went with the double lock on the new version. Otherwise, pretty much as visually, looking at the pictures, I don't have one, pretty much the same as the original there. So now the premium of the entire crowd here, the Corvus III. This has been a hot knife in 2022. It is heavy. This version, and there are several versions. There's a Damascus version. I think there might be a Mokutai version. This one, however, has the very interesting material. I'm going to have a brain fart here. Yes, zirconium. As soon as I put the knife down, I remembered it. Zirconium handle scales. Heavy, dense material used in nuclear reactors to shield, as well as furnaces and jewelry. And it is an element, zirconium. Unfortunately, a fingerprint magnet, so you're going to see everything that touches this surface, but it's easily wiped off. M390 blade, frame lock, smooth pneumatic action, thumb stud opener, but also a flipper, guys. It is a flipper action as well. Big swooping pocket clip on it, and almost leave the thumbprints on there so you can see how shiny it is. Titanium frame underneath that. Again, heavy knife. I think this comes in like 6, 7 or more ounces. Check the review on this one. Jimping is a little smooth, but you can get a good purchase on this, so I don't think that's going to be a big problem. Beautiful milling on the backspacer there. Just a class act knife. So let's line them all up. See if we can get them all in the shot. We got the Corvus III at the top. We've got the Babylon under that. We got the Goliath II. We've got the Balance M. and we have the Sandstorm. And I said I was going to do a compare between the Sandstorm and the Goliath, and they're pretty much neck and neck. I think the drop point was maybe a little longer than either. Pretty much the same length. Taller blade there on the Sandstorm. That's about it. Okay, well, let's get them all back in the picture. There you go. Maxace 2022, and this isn't all of them that I have, so maybe we'll do another one. I wanted to limit this to 5 so we could take a good look at each of them. And once again, folks, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. We're slowly creeping up in subscribers, but you know, we could go a little faster. Why not? Jump in if you haven't already. You will get notifications every time there is a new video up, or a short, or a community message. See you soon.